entitled to an attorney. So if they cannot afford to hire a private attorney, then they will not be able to fight it in court. At least one person has already been denaturalized in recent weeks. Experts in immigration law have already expressed concerns, with one stating, quote, "They're going to end up focusing on people who have not committed any serious infraction or maybe any infraction at all." The Assistant Attorney General stated that pursuing denaturalization will be among the agency's top 5 priorities. Breaking news, the Department of Justice just confirmed their plans to deport naturalized U.S. citizens. The order states that any offense at any time can be used to justify denaturalization. The DOJ also confirmed that they will be pursuing civil cases, which is extremely significant considering the fact that individuals in civil court are not entitled to an attorney. So if they cannot afford to hire a private attorney, then they will not be able to fight it in court. At least one person has already been denaturalized in recent weeks. Experts in immigration law have already expressed concerns, with one stating, quote, "They're going to end up focusing on people who have not committed any serious infraction or maybe any infraction at all." The Assistant Attorney General stated that pursuing denaturalization will be among the agency's top 5 priorities. Breaking news, the Department of Justice...
It's time to speak up. ICE is now removing undocumented foster children from their foster homes. Removing foster children from their foster homes for deportation. Y'all, I've been working in the foster care system for 28 years. I'm a former foster mom, and I adopted 4 children from foster care and fostered many others. And I have represented hundreds of children who are in foster care. And one thing all of these children have in common is they have all been through trauma to one degree or another. We are taking children who have already been through trauma and removing them from foster homes for deportation. There will be a reckoning for this in this life or the next. For those of you who are supporting this, there will be a reckoning for this in this life or the next. And for those of you who are sitting silently by while these atrocities are unfolding before our eyes, it's time to speak up. ICE is now removing
He's literally fainting. Can you guys fucking help him?
Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me, please! Hey!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We can't.
Help me!
He's literally fainting. Can you guys fucking help him?
Help me, please! Help me! Help me! Help me, please! Hey!
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We can't.
Sir, what happened here?
I got flattened by a truck and then offered 2.
They already took the most precious thing from me, which is my mother. That she was my rock.
On June 4th, Erica Perez and her mother Maria went for a routine check-in at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement office in California. But instead of a case update, ICE agents detained and deported Maria on the spot.
I was in shock. My mom was crying hysterically. I can't erase the image of her just having that full panic attack.
Maria's deportation comes amid the Trump administration's aggressive immigration crackdown. In early June, ICE staged coordinated military-style raids across Los Angeles, arresting at least 300 people at local businesses, garment shops, and Home Depots.
Walked inside and they were like, "Your mother's going to be detained and she's going to be deported today." They didn't let my sister come inside to say goodbye. I was the only one. They didn't give us a reason. Really, the only thing that they said was she has exceeded all her options being here in the US. I didn't cry at the moment because I was trying to be strong for my mom. She always says I'm the strongest one. And as soon as I walked out of those doors from the ICE check-in, I just started crying so much that everybody who was doing the check-in, I can see their fear in their eyes. Well, I could tell they were all worried and wanted to ask, but they couldn't.
Maria was undocumented, but she had lived in the US for 35 years, and she had a valid work permit.
My mom's been here since she was 17 years old, so she left her country, and this is the only country she knows. So now she's 52 years old, and at 52, she's back in Mexico.
Erica says that her mother was mistreated while in ICE detention.
My mother obviously is diabetic, and she suffers from anxiety and depression. And she asked for a sweater to one of the ICE officers because she was freezing. They wouldn't give her one, and hours would pass by, and they just literally handed her a pair of pants, and they said, "Here, use that as a blanket."
Erica is a US citizen and a firefighter who puts her life on the line. But she's still living with the fear that ICE could come for the people she loves most.
I'm not only just dealing with my problem, I'm also going out of my community to help, because that's exactly what I've always been taught as being a CAL FIRE employee, to always be there for my community.
Maria is now in Oaxaca, Mexico.
She told me that she doesn't fear of being chased by ICE, by the government, by anybody.
Thousands of people are rallying against Trump's immigration crackdown, with protests spreading to at least 37 US cities. But in the meantime, families like Erica's continue to face the harsh realities of separation and concerns about what comes next.
I'm not living in fear. I worry for everyone else who is undocumented. And I know they're living in fear. I can see it. They already took the most precious thing from me.
Are you guys serious?
Masked ICE officers recently began staking out immigration courts in cities around the country, including Phoenix. The ICE officers have been arresting large numbers of immigrants just moments after they show up for their first deportation hearing, only to have their cases suddenly dismissed by immigration judges at the request of Department of Homeland Security lawyers. The unprecedented arrests outside the immigration courts are part of the Trump administration's efforts to ramp up rapid deportations of millions of asylum seekers through a legal process known as expedited removal. Expedited removal allows immigration authorities to quickly deport certain undocumented immigrants without a full hearing before an immigration judge. Under the Biden presidency, expedited removal was generally only applied to undocumented immigrants who had entered the U.S. within the past 14 days and were caught within 100 miles of the border. The Trump administration, however, has expanded the use, and instead of just 14 days, they're applying it to undocumented immigrants who have been here for up to 2 years. So that is why DHS lawyers are asking immigration judges to dismiss deportation cases against asylum seekers when they show up in courts. Getting the cases dismissed allows the Trump administration to rearrest them as they leave the courtroom so they can quickly deport them through expedited removal.
Are you guys serious?
Masked ICE officers recently began staking.
How does it feel being deported?
Feels great, honestly. Before this, I took out a $300,000 loan and already bought a ranch in Mexico. Catch me if you can.
Bro, you did what? You're just saying that on camera.
What are they going to do? Come to Mexico and get it back?
Okay, but be honest. Did you pick that hat just to mess with everybody, or is that actually your style?
A little bit of both. It throws them off, makes the paperwork more complicated.
All right, so what exactly did you buy with all that loan money?
New truck for my dad, 30 goats, a big screen TV, and some fireworks.
Fireworks?
Big ones for the welcome home party.
You know you're not supposed to admit this stuff on live TV, right?
You think they're going to come get me? They can't even pronounce my last name.
Any regrets at all?
Yeah, should have leased a Hellcat. My cousin's been wanting to stunt.
If you had one message for the taxpayers watching?
Gracias for the free dental. Best cleaning I ever had.
You are unbelievable.
Catch me if you can.
How does it feel being deported?
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man mistakenly deported by the Trump administration in March, says he was beaten and tortured while in prison in El Salvador. Here's what we know. After being mistakenly incarcerated in El Salvador's mega prison, officially known as the Terrorism Confinement Center, CCOT, Abrego Garcia's wife filed a lawsuit in Maryland federal court. The Trump administration has asked a federal judge to dismiss the case, arguing that the government has already retrieved Abrego Garcia from El Salvador and returned him to the United States. Newly filed court documents have revealed the conditions Abrego Garcia says he endured while detained. He alleges he suffered severe beatings, sleep deprivation, and psychological torture while imprisoned at CCOT. According to the Associated Press, Abrego Garcia reported being repeatedly hit and kicked, causing bruises and swelling. He also claims he and about 20 other detainees were forced to kneel throughout the night while guards beat those who fell over. Abrego Garcia, originally from El Salvador, was granted protection from deportation in 2019 when a judge ruled he faced a credible threat of gang persecution if returned. While detained, he says prison officials told him they could place him in a cell with known gang members who could tear him apart. He also claims he witnessed violence between other detainees and regularly heard screams throughout the night. Court documents also describe overcrowded cells with metal bunks and no mattresses, constant bright lighting, no windows, and poor sanitation. He says he lost more than 30 pounds within his first 2 weeks. His attorneys allege he was stripped naked, forced to shave his head, and received inadequate nutrition. The Trump administration eventually returned Abrego Garcia to the U.S. after a Supreme Court order and mounting public scrutiny. He is now facing federal smuggling charges and remains in custody awaiting trial. Kilmar Abrego Garcia